Hello guys, welcome to my tutorial on Python. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about Python functions. So we will be covering the following topics. First, we will see what are functions and how you define a function. Then we are going to see the type of arguments. We have three types. One is the positional keyword, then the variable length arguments, which I'll be talking about it in a separate video. Then at last we are going to talk about the return statements. So first, what are functions? Functions is a block of reusable code that is used to perform a single related function. We use functions basically for reusability, so you can build a modular code. Let's see an example so you will understand much better. So here what I did was I created a very simple function which prints a line. So how you define a function? You use the def keyword, then followed by a space, then you give a function name, a pair of parentheses, then a colon mark. The colon indicates it's the start of the function. So again you give a def keyword, space, followed by a function name. Here it is called test, pair of parentheses, then colon. Colon indicates the start of the function. So how do you call the function? You call the function just by giving the function name, then a pair of parentheses. So now let's run this module. So you can see that the function is being called and the result is being displayed. So this is a very simple function. You can call this function as many times as you want. For example, let's call the function a couple of more times. So you can see that the results are being displayed based on the number of calls. So that's what a very simple function looks like. So now let's write a meaningful function so we can talk more about the arguments. First, let's write a very simple function to add two numbers. So when you add two numbers, you basically give two numbers, right? So we are going to pass these two numbers to our function add. So now what I did was I just gave two values, a comma b. So the value 3 will be substituted to a and the value 2 will be substituted to b. So this is why I call it as a positional argument. The first position is being substituted to the first value and the second position is substituted respectively. So now we have these two numbers and let's define a new variable called c, which is going to add these two numbers and display their sum. So let's run this program. You can see the sum of two numbers is being displayed here. So this is what is called a positional argument. The values are being substituted based on their position. Let's talk about the keyword argument so you will see the difference between these two types of arguments. When I mean keyword is, what I mean by keyword is I just give a keyword for the values to be substituted. So in the same case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a is my first keyword initialized by value 0 and B is my second keyword, which is again initialized by zeros. Now when you call this function, which has a keyword parameter, you can say that a equal to 3 and b equals 2. So the same function, now we have replaced the same positional function, we have replaced with the keyword functions. The keywords here are a and b. So now you can see that the same result are being displayed. One good advantage of using the keyword argument is it's much clear now. We are not based on position. For example, you can call the function by passing the first value b, then the second value a. If you run this module, you won't see any difference in the result. So that is the good thing about keyword arguments. It gives a kind of proper documentation for your code, saying that this keyword indicates this value and the other keywords indicate the other values. So that's it about the two arguments. Now let's talk about the return statement. So what are return statements? Return statements are nothing but it is used to return a value. Most of the time, what you want to do is you call a function to compute something and return us the results. In this case, assume that we want to return the value c, which is the sum of two numbers. This is how we define. You say return space c. So let's define a new variable called result, which is going to call the function add, and the function add will return the result c. So let's print the result so you can better understand how it works. So now you see that the same add function that we wrote earlier has been replaced with a return statement, and that result is being printed here. So this is how you define a return statement. Sometimes if you don't define any variable, if you don't return any value, by default it takes the value none. So let's see what happens in this case when you print the result. You see here that the value none is being printed. So that's it about Python functions in this tutorial. You can watch my other tutorials on Python. Thank you.